All right. Hey, hey, Ophiuchus, here we go. Let's go ahead and take a little peek at who is the best match for Ophiuchus. And with that in mind, I'm not looking at it from the lens of, what zodiac is most compatible, astrological signs. You can look all that up and that doesn't change, right? I'm looking for the story of wherever Ophiuchus is right now, what personality type, what quality of character would they be most compatible with, um, and kind of why. So we have a Page of Pentacles sideways, a Five of Wands sideways, the Knight of Cups upright, and the King of Wands upright. Okay, so first off, there could be um, negotiable qualities and then non negotiable qualities. The non negotiable qualities is like Ophiuchus has to have somebody who rules with their heart, who stands for something like peace, who has a very strong will, unbendable will, that is actually, it's not stubborn to be stubborn. It's that I stand for something and it is something that is based in integrity. Um, I don't think Ophiuchus will be able to like maybe respect somebody whose convictions they cannot respect. So this person has strong convictions. They could be somebody that, Ophiuchus is like, I gotta have somebody who, if I know they really believe in something, then I know I can trust them when they also tell me that they give me their heart. So it's important to me. And the things that they believe in have to be the things that would make the world a better place. That's also important. This is not um, look, I think Ophiuchus is looking for true strength as opposed to show of force. True strength does not have with does not have anything to do with show muscle or show of force. It doesn't have to do with swaggering about and trying to intimidate. It doesn't have to do with trying to flex on people. It has to do with I actually stand for something, and that's something I actually believe in because there's something right about it. Not It's not even just like based in like opinion and now I'm going to be stubbornly opinionated. It's like no, this is an inalienable truth. This is something as profound as like there should be equality amongst human beings. Like that's just a truth. You can't get around that. That is a fact. And standing for something that is just like in my heart of hearts, I know this to be true. That is what Ophiuchus falls for. That is what Ophiuchus thinks ultimately makes somebody the person they could love. They could have attraction for someone that has a good, heart and is emotionally sensitive, but the person that, if they're going to go from I'm really attracted to this person to I feel safe giving this person my whole heart, this is the next layer of what they need to know about this person. Now, at the same time, Ophiuchus isn't looking for someone who perhaps is identical to them in every way. There can be, somebody who makes me think about stuff, maybe somebody who can change my opinion on some things, somebody that I too can make them think about things. I would be more than happy to meet someone who comes from a different perspective, different place in the world than me, has had different life experiences. I could see myself with, I feel like Ophiuchus is very open minded about certain aspects of life, and then very certain about the most important, like shared values that they would look for. And I think ultimately they could want somebody who has fun, doing things like physical activities, playing sports, also who likes to go out and skywatch and has a very powerful romantic sense, but then also, like I said, it has like a mature vision of, you know, in this lifetime, my opinion counts, and so I'm a mature, contributing member of society who has ideas, and I have things that matter and things that I'm going to, respectfully hold my own on. It feels like all of that rolled together. Uh, some core qualities have to be the same, but also there's room for differences. There's room for, great conversation, great dialogue. I do think that this is probably an Ophiuchus who wants somebody who they can bounce different ideas off of, have interesting different perspectives brought to the table. I don't think Ophiuchus is ever going to be able to just be like, I have to have a partner who is a clone of every opinion I have. No. I would rather have somebody that I have, some even differences of opinion about certain things in life, or somebody I can, like be challenged to learn from them and they from me. It really feels like dialogue is so important to this Ophiuchus, and having a depth of, I want to get to know somebody. I want you to tell me who you are. I want to have real conversation. Okay, so if that's some of the most important, I mean, this feels like an Ophiuchus who knows quite well who they want, what they're looking for, what they find most attractive, what they find most valuable. Then has Ophiuchus met this person, or will they be meeting this person? Three of Pentacles. Okay, at the beginning I said there could be more than one character that could possibly be a good one for Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus might be trying to figure out, we had those two cards that were sideways, and we have all this dialogue that's necessary. Maybe Ophiuchus is actually trying to figure out between two different amazing people. I'm not saying they're even dating two different people, but let's say Ophiuchus is in the very beginning of saying, there are two people in my world, both of whom I respect to a certain extent, both of whom have great brains. Even here they're like talking. Maybe Ophiuchus is a little bit attracted to two people that are like brothers or cousins or friends. And it's like, both of these are great men or great women. And I can see reasons to respect each of them. Maybe that's why we have so much dialogue and it's coming in on two cards. There's maybe Ophiuchus is actually paying close attention to two different people and they may know each other. Then maybe that's why Ophiuchus isn't dating either one of them just yet, but paying attention to two different characters, hearing who they are. This could also be Ophiuchus can't help but compare like a relationship with somebody of their past to this new person, but I still don't feel like a relationship has yet begun. It's more in friendship status, and Ophiuchus is really listening to them, really asking themselves this step-by-step progress. Is this somebody I can talk to, somebody I can learn things from, somebody who listens to me? How do we dialogue together? Okay, is there an attraction building? Okay, do I have a deep-rooted, like powerful respect for them? And that's why I feel like I can give my heart to them. Ophiuchus isn't there yet, but they are in the evaluation space of at least talking to one, if not two people, and they're asking themselves these questions. So I kind of think Ophiuchus is surrounded by some real high quality people right now, or is thinking about a couple of high quality people. And they're like, there's a lot to like about both of these individuals. But when I ask myself, who could I fall for? I'm still not sure about that. So kind of cool though. I mean, how wonderful is it to be around amazing people and respect certain, individuals that we're talking to and learning about. That's really cool. Okay, I want to ask this, what's making Ophiuchus attractive right now? We have got the Three of Coins in the reverse. We've got the Four of Cups upright, and we got the Knight of Cups. So on one hand, the fact that Ophiuchus isn't messing with anybody's hearts, the fact that Ophiuchus doesn't maybe merge situations when they shouldn't, the fact that maybe Ophiuchus is able to openly call out illusions when they show up, but at the same time Ophiuchus is a romantic. So it seems like they are somebody who is like a little bit grounded, very fair and balanced, but also a romantic. But even here, seahorses do mate for life. And I have to say, Ophiuchus pauses and they wait and they evaluate things, and then they move forward with intent. And so there's a real sense of gravity about this Ophiuchus. I think Ophiuchus makes people feel really, really seen, really because this Ophiuchus doesn't, they may not even date that often. They may not give their loyalty very easily. This could be an Ophiuchus who's like, I really have to get to know somebody. And when I feel like I know them and I respect them, this is in friendship and business and lovers, all of it. I think Ophiuchus is extremely loyal is extremely loving, but you don't get that part of Ophiuchus unless Ophiuchus like really intends to induct you into their inner circle. And then when that happens, you can feel the shift. Like that's what's making Ophiuchus so attractive is like, wow, this Ophiuchus, if they're looking my way, they don't give me fake smiles. It's going to be a real smile. They don't pretend to like me and they're trash talking me behind my back. This is an Ophiuchus who really, truly, they don't mess about. If they mean it, they really mean it, and you can tell the difference. I think it's very obvious who Ophiuchus is super loyal to. And I think it takes quite a bit to get into Ophiuchus's inner circle. And so it's like that right there makes it rare. It makes it really, really special. All right, I do want to ask, how does an X see Ophiuchus? And on one hand, we can say, why does it matter? I just kind of think that, X's are the people that had an experience and we probably showed a real piece of ourselves too. So I think it's just interesting to say, how does an X see Ophiuchus? 9 of Cups, like somebody absolutely amazing, somebody who has great worth and value, somebody who also, I always think of her as like an opera singer receiving, a bouquet of roses. I don't know if Ophiuchus has a beautiful voice or if there's somebody that maybe this is an X who's like, I'm hearing, but I should have bought you flowers and held your hand. Bruno Mars, When I Was Your Man. We also have an Empress upright. I only have an Ace of Wands upright. How an X sees Ophiuchus is, Ophiuchus was, I mean, not to be goofy about it, but was like the greatest thing that ever happened to them. Ophiuchus is still somebody that they think is so sexy. And I'm getting this vibe that this is an X who knew Ophiuchus like either for a long time. Ophiuchus could be like a more mature age. And they're like, man, Ophiuchus is like the sexiest, the hottest. They may be more attracted to Ophiuchus now. Like I'm picturing an Ophiuchus it's like more in like their mature, like years of their life, like 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And this is somebody who is looking at Ophiuchus like they are so hot. Like they're more gorgeous, they're more handsome, they're more sexy than they even were before. It's wild because this person is more turned on by Ophiuchus now, possibly than even when they were with Ophiuchus. I don't know if, sometimes people don't appreciate what they've got till it's gone. It could be some of that, but they have so much respect for Ophiuchus, or they literally think Ophiuchus is like aging just beautifully, like a whole new, like edges and angles. And, I personally, I love the contours of our faces as we age. I love the wrinkles that make our faces shape with, like, I mean, I've got, you can't really see it just because his lighting is kind of garish, but I have a lot of wrinkles. I have a lot of smile lines. I have a lot of, marks and my like 12 lines in my forehead and all of it. And I just kind of, I'm like, that's the pattern my face has taken, and sometimes we just like enjoy seeing like what our face has been through in life. And I feel like that's something that particularly on Ophiuchus, that is something that somebody finds more attractive about Ophiuchus. Like the whatever it is, maybe they look even more graceful or something as they're aging. If they have wrinkles or lines or something, is this somebody who's like drawn to that? Or like me, maybe they like that. I like faces that have, lines and, layers to them. So, it's all personal preference, right? It's whatever we like is whatever we're drawn to. But it just kind of seems like I think Ophiuchus is somebody that is, an X sees them as like, wow, they look better the more they age. And maybe it's because of wrinkles, or maybe it's because of, just the way we grow into our personalities sometimes too. And then that shows in like our aura, our, sometimes we look more attractive because we're happier. And I would say that could be part of it as well. Okay, let's take a look and see. Now, this is non-romantic, but I want to say, how do others see Ophiuchus? Not an X anymore. Others find Ophiuchus attractive too. We have lovers, and we've got there's at least 2 people out there who have had a hidden fantasy. And I say that because we have 2 people like kissing that are carved into a mountain, and then we have these 2 people acting like they don't know each other, see each other, and they're standing here side by side, this might go back to what we saw in the very beginning when I said, who does Ophiuchus match with? What's their best match? And we actually saw two people that Ophiuchus was trying to figure out. I was trying to go for a non-romantic question when I said, how do other people see Ophiuchus? But we clearly have two sets of lovers, both of whom are pretending that they're not hyper aware of each other. Which brings me back around to that very beginning of the story. So hang on. Four of Pentacles and the Star. Okay, so I will say this. Other people that know Ophiuchus may see what's going on. They may know that not only are there two people that have the hots for Ophiuchus, but they may be saying, we can see, even if Ophiuchus is not breathing a word of it. And I do think Ophiuchus keeps their own counsel, but I think other people that know Ophiuchus can see that Ophiuchus doesn't broadcast things, but they're sought after. It's like other people looking in can see how attractive this Ophiuchus is, and they can see who's attracted to Ophiuchus. Other people see that, those that are not attracted. So let's say Ophiuchus's friends can tell that we got these two dudes that are attracted to Ophiuchus. And they may know Ophiuchus and say, I know Ophiuchus isn't admitting it or broadcasting it, but I know Ophiuchus pretty well. Or I think, I could imagine that Ophiuchus would appreciate these two different people that are attracted to Ophiuchus. It's almost like Ophiuchus is somebody that a lot of people are drawn to, and it's visible to all who observe. And it's not like a gossipy thing. If anything, I think people are very supportive of Ophiuchus, and it's like, well, of course, Ophiuchus is great. Ophiuchus is a shining star. They have the it factor. They have something about them that makes people want to be around them. And I think, again, Ophiuchus is like a juggernaut. I think they're gaining attractiveness. They're gaining momentum with every passing year. This is an Ophiuchus that actually shines brighter and is stepping more and more into their light and more into themselves. So very interesting. And I do want to ask one last question, even though this is a little bit, a tough one. But what is it about Ophiuchus that might challenge certain people? The Fool and the Moon. The people that are probably either put off by Ophiuchus or challenged by Ophiuchus, they could feel like Ophiuchus is too much of a wild card. They could feel like Ophiuchus is just like, they don't understand Ophiuchus. They don't understand how Ophiuchus is so like free-spirited or is able to, do things that other people can't. Maybe it's other people watching Ophiuchus blossom as well, since we have all of these butterflies. I feel like Ophiuchus's life keeps expanding, and they keep changing, and they keep looking better, and they keep getting more confident. And I almost feel like that confuses and intimidates certain people because they don't understand what's the secret sauce that you got that I don't got. So I'm definitely thinking Ophiuchus could have a few peers that, instead of like being around Ophiuchus, they could start to feel insecure in themselves because they don't get, how is Ophiuchus having this charisma? How is Ophiuchus having this like second breath of life? How is it that they look sexier the older they get, instead of feeling tired? How is it that Ophiuchus does things that they want and is so true to themselves? I don't get how they're doing this. And that could just perplex people and make them feel a bit insecure. So the ones that are challenged by Ophiuchus, it kind of looks like it's because they don't understand how Ophiuchus seems to be able to be bold. So I don't know. I really like this character. It seems like they really are comfortable in their own skin, and that's making them really radiant. So beautiful character here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Lots of love.